Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Today we are about to get into Married at First Sight, season 13, episode 10. I think locked out the disrespect. Y'all, Jose was really up here on some petty female-ish, okay? Like, that's something that I would do to one of my roommates from college. Like, nah, bitch, you want to have an attitude? I'm gonna lock your ass out. Oops, I forgot. I turned the deadbolt on. My bad. That's honestly some petty stuff that I would do. But yeah, I literally almost forgot that I had this live because I scheduled it way ahead of time. And this is typically why I don't schedule lives this early. But y'all, I'm super excited to be talking to y'all about this episode today. So let me go ahead and do a roll call before we jump into it. So, what's up, Julia? Make sure y'all hit the like button, like our girl Julia said. Before we get into it, we are on the way to 8K, then 10K, but 10K is the big goal. So make sure y'all like and subscribe. Sid says that this episode was juicy. Can't wait to hear your opinion. This episode had a lot going on. Jose was out here lying on that girl, y'all say. So glad the guys called him out. Y'all, the end of that episode was hilarious. KA, my girl, what's up? Rubbing my hands together. Y'all know what time it is. Nana, what's up? Sam J, hey girl, Necey Hive. And Monique is ready for little Jose, not little, to be dragged, okay? It's J Dub. What's up, y'all? Teresa, can you say it again? All the men this season are a mess. First and foremost, y'all, I have to talk about how was I wrong? Was I wrong? Think that Michaela was the only one missing a few marbles? Because we definitely see this episode that Zach is, I feel like he's trying to manipulate her. Y'all, I really was thinking it was just all on Michaela, but we have to hold Zach accountable for the ish that he's doing. I think that Zach wants a way out. Y'all comment in the chat. Tell me, do y'all think that Zach literally just wants a way out? And because J Dub is here, he had me thinking, I gotta name somebody a clown this episode, okay? And in this situation, there's two clowns. Y'all drop down in the comments, tell me who y'all's clown of the episode is. But boom, for me, it's Jose, okay? Number one. For me, it's Zach. I wanted it so bad. Zach, if you want to leave, then leave. But he does what so many men do season after season, and they try to find a way out without looking like the bad guy. And I really wish that these dudes would come on the show and stop being so concerned about being the bad guy, because ultimately you end up looking like an ass regardless. Okay, so you might as well be an honest ass. It's frustrating. Okay, and I see y'all are frustrated with them as well. Y'all say Jose is a definite clown. Jose and Zach, okay? Definitely. Julia says no. Zach is trying to low key keep up a lot of confusion. He is. God is not the author of confusion, okay? So, Michaela, I hope that you will not get manipulated into. Zach is trying to conform her. Let's go ahead and jump into the episode, okay? Let me pull up these couples because I can review the whole episode just talking to y'all off the top of my brain. But we're going to go couple by couple, y'all. Let me pull up my notes. Where my charger at? I'm in a different part of the room today. y'all can see more of the room today. I'm not just sitting up behind the wall or in front of the wall. Alrighty. The first couple that I think we should talk about, y'all, let's go ahead and talk about the couple who's usually boring. Ryan and Brett, the one who I have on screen, y'all. So with Ryan and Brett, their whole issue this episode is that Ryan is not keeping that same energy. He's not matching Brett's energy. Brett feels like she typically gets the short end of the stick, and there's always something about her where it's like, you're great, but so they get a visit from Dr. Viviana and they start to talk about affection. Ryan feels like there is some affection, but only to a point. And y'all, to be completely honest, I feel like their biggest, I guess, difference right now is the level of physical intimacy. I think that they would be much further along if Brett was as sexual as Ryan. I think that Ryan is used to getting a lot much sooner than Brett is willing to give it, which is why he finds himself getting bored. He said he's trying to find something that's just that, he's trying to find like some butterflies. But honestly, y'all, I think that he is getting bored. And I think every episode, the biggest thing that they talk about, he tries to act like he's a good sport, but I think he wants her to bust it wide open. And I think that's why he's getting bored. But Brett, you are not wrong at all. You should have some sort of boundary. If it takes you longer than he to actually, have sex or be physical, you should stick by that. Ryan is used to going on a dating app. And as soon as he dates one girl and she's boring and it's not really that much to look forward to, he's not used to staying with her, working for sex, probably, and ultimately building a relationship. So I think he's hitting the roadblock. Anyway, he does what so many men have done in seasons past, and they end up leaving. I have to show this comment. Saintly, I agree with you. He wants Brett to be a blonde haired girl that's all over him. I think he's not used to this type of girl. Brett is very level-headed. She's not obsessed with him. She knows exactly what she wants. This ain't no, hook up from the bar type thing. So I think he just doesn't have the same thrill. And then I'm also wondering if it's really the red hair. He said he was attracted to the red hair, but I think he likes Brett more of like she's cute, but not like yeah, she's cute. Nothing's going to change until they get physical, okay? So anyway, they bring up the fact that Brett has more feelings for Ryan than he does for her. And he's waiting for the butterflies, as I said. Brett goes home, and then he comes back. And what is it, Sam? Hashtag reset. Suddenly, since he went home, he came to his senses, and he decides that this is a marriage and that he's just tired of dating and that he's going to make this work. So yeah. I don't know. I think that there's a real possibility that it may be the attraction. And I feel like a lot of times people can get past the lack of attraction if something else is there. And in this situation, I don't think that something else is there. For example, if he was only like lightweight attracted to her, maybe they would have some sort of connection physically. He didn't know about it yet. So he's like, what is this about? I don't think it's a match at all. I think Ryan is going to do this whole reset thing until he tries to convince himself that he'll stay with her. I saw a tweet on Twitter last night, and it said, we need a new couple of experts, okay? People don't date the same way that they used to date back in the day. Millennials are not settling. Stop doing the opposites attract type shit. Please. Because people don't want to work for it. It should be something that's fairly easy. These two were politically different. These two obviously have two different physical traits or physical types that they're attracted to, and you still decided to pair them together. So yeah, they end up going to a tantric sex session, which they do with a lot of couples, y'all. The first couple that came to mind for me was Karen and Miles from New Orleans season. They had them go to a tantric sex session. And to me, I don't feel like it brought them any closer together physically. I thought it was definitely awkward, especially when that instructor moaned. I was like, no, ma'am. No, I didn't. I wasn't here for it. Let's see what y'all think about Ryan and Brett. Sarah says he would have to be intentional to get a spark going. What is he waiting to happen? Yes, he would have to be intentional. And that's the thing. Y'all don't think he likes the red hair. I saw another, there we go. Jay Antoinette, she always on time. She said Brett is what Ryan needs, but not what he wants. I definitely agree. The yoga was weird. So now, y'all, if somebody would stop calling me so I can move on with this video. Y'all know I forgot to turn my stuff on Do Not Disturb before I got started. Let me make sure I do this so they don't interrupt our conversation. Okay? So now, y'all, I think we can move on to the next couple. The next couple, y'all, let's just go ahead and get Bao and Johnny out the way. Bao and Johnny we're not really too much this episode. And I'm not upset about that at all, because I don't think that this should be a season where every single couple is like doing the MF and most. Okay. So I'm actually very satisfied that Johnny and Bao are in the right place. But I don't know if it's the editing or if it's just the roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, I can't get over the showering. They made showering such a big deal. They made it seem like Johnny was all the way out, like he was completely done. And now these two have unlocked a new level of their relationship. So, y'all tell me, do y'all think that Bao and Johnny are on a temporary physical high right now? Because that could be exactly what it is. They could just be super excited, super lusty into each other, and excited about something new. But at the end of the day, are they still fundamentally different? Is what I want to know. So they start playing like one of the couples exercises or the expert exercises, and they're asking each other questions. They just want to have an honest conversation, and Bao ends up describing a time when she was younger, and then when she would walk home from school, she would often walk past her house because she was too embarrassed for people to know where she lived. She then started talking about how her friends didn't want to come over to her house, or their friends' parents wouldn't allow their kids to come to the house because her dad was known as the town drunk. She didn't want to say that. She just kept saying my dad was a bad influence. And Johnny was like, "Did he drink?" And she was like, "Yeah." What did y'all notice how Johnny was like, "Oh, okay." Johnny, I think Johnny was kind of like, "You're doing the most," like Bao always does. First, it's you staying awake all through the night at fucking band camp because you don't want people to know that you snore, which is very weird. I think she has a lot of insecurities. Um, and now it's you don't want to sleep in the same bed as Johnny because he might hear you snore. So I think Johnny knows that she overreacts to a lot of things. But whenever she was explaining that her dad was a drunk, he almost laughed it off and was like, "Oh, okay. Like, why didn't you just say that?" So I think that's what it was. Anyway, Dr. Viviana comes to the house and she asks, "Johnny, have you been doing any tests on Bao?" And he ends up talking about how they made the bed together and that he ended up doing the whole thing by himself and Bao was just giving direction. So he definitely noticed that. I think he still notices a lot of the negative things, or at least negative to him about her personality. Like I said, y'all, I asked y'all the question, are they still fundamentally different? Yes, they are. I think they can make it work as long as Johnny doesn't want to run. I think that there's going to come a time when sex is just going to be sex for y'all because that's your wife. So right now, I have to stick by my word. I answered my own question. I definitely think that this is a temporary physical high. Then they showed them at the end of the episode role playing. They're doing like some nurse and patient stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's cute. But y'all really gonna gloss over the fact that y'all made it seem like Bao didn't shower at all. And now they talking about having sex every day or every other day. So it's like, nah. Editing. If y'all blew that out of proportion and made it seem like Bao didn't like to shower, I'm gonna need y'all to clean that up and explain, because the math is not math and it don't make sense for somebody who's not showering daily to be having sex daily with their partner. So I need Married at First Sight to clarify what that was. I know some people said that she talked about it on the whatever unscripted, Married at First Sight unscripted or something like that. And Bao says that there was never a question if she showered every day. Bao says that the question was how many times a day she showered. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Lee, I see you in the comments. You said watch unfiltered. I don't believe that that was the discrepancy. I know she's saying that she showers every day, but I'm not understanding why did they is Johnny really tripping over the simple fact that she doesn't shower multiple times a day? Because that just still does not make sense to me. Must be really bad editing. Okay, so that's all we have for Bao and Johnny, y'all. The next couple that we can get into is Mirla and Gil, y'all. So Mirla is nervous before Dr. Viviana comes over, and that's because they're talking about physical chemistry. She's super awkward when it comes to that. I feel like I know people like her, honestly. To me, I thought that um, look, here we go, Monique. Thank you. Bao said that she showers 2 to 3 times a week. That would be a lot of shopping and editing. Exactly. So I don't know. Whatever. Maybe she does. Anyway, I know people like Mirla, people who are super duper slow when it comes to relationships, but it also can come from multiple places. I know people who grew up in households where, like, you didn't hug, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So maybe like physical touch to you is really weird. Like for me, I think it's super weird whenever my friends tell me they love me like every 2 seconds. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, while that is completely normal, I grew up in a household that was not as expressive. So I feel like it has a lot to do with her history, which we probably don't know anything about. I'm sure we don't. Anyway, Dr. Viviana asked them 2 questions that stuck out to me. The first one is, where are you at as far as an emotional connection on a scale of 1 to 10? Mirla says that she's at a 7, and then Gil says that he's at an 8. So from an emotional perspective, Gil is just letting us know that he feels like he's in it more than she is. This is another couple who I feel like they were definitely chopping and screwing the editing, because initially, y'all, I literally thought Mirla was a bitch. Um, I think that she says a lot of things that can make her sound like a bitch, but I don't think that she truly is. I think that you can catch people saying a lot of negative things or petty things or complaining type things. And if you chop it up together and you watch it for 2 hours on a Wednesday, you're going to dislike that person. But just the contrast from where she was and how she was presented to us in the first few episodes versus now, it's like, when did Mirla and Gil have time to build that connection? So I really dislike that they playing us for some fools with the way that they're editing. But that's why we have to do our detective work and talk in these reviews, because I could tell probably a few episodes ago that Mirla and Gil have like a playful, joking type relationship, whereas a lot of times they can chop it and screw it and make it seem like she's being mean to him. I think that he definitely understands her sense of humor. Mina says, my mama says that they're going to make it. Yeah, you can tell they like each other. Yes, Kay says you can tell they have chemistry and they really like each other. Sarah says when she lets her guard down, it'll be fire. I completely agree, y'all. So I think it was like the second episode, y'all. I follow like Married at First Sight spoilers on Instagram, and they let us know that Mirla was actually selling this wedding dress right here. It's a Bertha gown, $10,000. So people wanted to know, do y'all think that she's selling the gown because she got divorced, or do you think that she's making a financial decision? Tell me what y'all think. Honestly, y'all, I feel like it's more common this day and age for women to sell their wedding dresses. You only wear it for a couple hours and then that's it. For some people, it's more sentimental. But if I spent $10,000 on a gown, I would definitely be trying to flip it, reverse it, and get a little bit of coin back because I have the pictures. We're in a digital world. I don't think anybody actually needs a physical clothing. But to me, I didn't think that that meant that they got a divorce. And I feel like with Mirla and Gil, I was only concerned that they would get a divorce if Mirla didn't commit to the marriage. So now that I feel that Mirla is committed, I don't think they're going to get a divorce. So the other thing that they end up talking about is their physical connection. Mirla says from a physical perspective, she's at a 7. That don't even make sense, y'all. How are you at a 7 if y'all are not kissing at bare minimum? I feel like kissing should be a 7. Like everything pretty much but sex should be a 7. And then once y'all actually have intercourse, it'll bounce to about a 10, hopefully. So for her to say 7, I was kind of like, whoa, she's letting you know that she's like good, good. I feel like she was also trying to ease Gil's concerns by letting him know that even though her actions don't match what she's saying, to be patient. So I'm glad that Gil called her out. From a physical perspective, Gil let us know that he's at a 5. He still hasn't gotten a kiss yet. And then he ends up asking her a really good question. He said he feels like kissing and sex is the same thing for Mirla. When he said that, I was like, absolutely. I said that early on. Kissing and sex is the same thing for Mirla, and she's not the only person like this, y'all. I have heard of plenty of people, especially men, who are like that, because a lot of people feel like kissing is even more intimate than sex. So it is what it is. We'll see. So anyway, Gil says to Dr. Viviana that ultimately he would still ask for a divorce if he didn't get a kiss in 8 weeks. Now, at the end of the episode, y'all, we find out that she finally kissed him and she had to make the first move. So, we'll see, y'all. We'll also talk about them a little bit more once the girls and guys meet up at the end of the episode. So now, y'all ready to talk about these clowns or not? Y'all ready to talk about the clowns? Like the video up, okay? Do me a favor, like the video up, and then we'll get into the clownery. I see you got your clown mask on like you always do. Julia, let me know whenever the people come through and actually like the video up, and then we can get into it. I am loving this live. We got 128 people in here. Okay, so comment section. For those of you who are watching the live video, you get to tell me, who do y'all want to talk about first and who do y'all want to end with? So the last two couples that we have to discuss Jose and Rachel, and then we have to discuss Zach and Michaela. Okay. I mean, I know which one I want to talk about, but since y'all made it here to the live, since y'all have y'all's notification bells on and y'all have liked the video, y'all tell me who y'all want to talk about, and then we'll go from there. Who are we talking about first? Okay. Jasmine says Zach. J Dub says Hurricane Zach. Zach. Bloop. Y'all killing me. Y'all are killing me. Jose for last, Zach first. Okay. Let's go, y'all. So let's go ahead and talk about, like y'all said, Zach first. Let me find my picture for Zach, y'all. Bloop. Hurricane Zach. Okay, so I have to start out like this because I know that Bondi or Jamie is going to watch this video. By the way, y'all, today is Thursday. So like every single Thursday, me and the girls meet up for conversation about all the celebrity hot topics, random stuff, as well as TV show reviews. So tonight we're going to be on Bondi Blues channel at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I hate to say it, but Bondi and Jamie told me that it was something wrong with Zach. Okay? I didn't believe them. I thought that Michaela was coming off as a woman scorned much too early. I still stand by that. But I feel like Zach is so triggered by women acting like that because he has a history of making women act like that. Why? What is wrong with you, Zach? I think that we're finally starting to figure that out. Okay. So at the beginning of the episode, we see Zach boxing. And it was something about, like, I used to think that Zach was really, really cute. I thought that he was like lightweight fine. And I say like lightweight because, like, I don't really mean fine. I just thought he was cute, right? But this episode, when I saw him, I was like, ugh, I don't really like him anymore because your personality coming out. So he was up there boxing, y'all, trying to look cute and everything. He's talking to his friend about a situation that went down. Mind y'all, this situation went down when there were no cameras around. So I have to bring up the fact that he's a manipulator there. I feel like he intentionally thinks about the things that he does and when it's not on camera. So anyway, him and Michaela were chilling after dinner. He ended up telling Michaela that he was going to go home and get his Apple TV so they could come back and have a movie night. He gets to the house, claimed he was tired and wasn't going to come back. Now, y'all, if Michaela should have flipped her shit anytime, This should have been the time. This whole situation right here makes me now believe that the first time that he left, it was on some bullshit. T, say it again. When he said, I decided to just sleep here because I was tired, excuse me, you are married. We are not dating. Come home. Come home. Why are you not coming home? This is home. What you mean? Home is where the heart is. God damn it. Okay. Anyway, that was definitely some clown shit. That was definitely some suspenseful shit. That was definitely some fuckboy shit. But, at this point in time, he has blamed Michaela for a lot of the blow-ups that, in a way, he's trained her to tolerate his bullshit. And I was like, wow. Bondi and Jamie said that he was training her, and that's exactly what he did. So whenever he pulled this shit, Michaela was fighting the battle of expressing how she truly felt. Like, he gaslit you. You can no longer call bullshit without being the angry, scorned woman. So I thought it was weird. Michaela was calm in this situation. Zach says to his friend that he feels like, oh, y'all see my little baby dog? Anyway, Zach tells his friend that he feels like Michaela has done a lot better this go around, and he knows that she's putting in the work and that he's happy. You happy because you have pulled the blanket over her head, and now she will follow you in line like a little sheep, so that way you can continue to do whatever you want to do. These two together are a fucking mess. Next, Dr. Viviana comes to the house, y'all. This is another instance, y'all. This is another instance where he tries to manipulate her. This is the beginning. Dr. Viviana talks to the couple about where their trust is. Michaela says that her trust is at 50%. Zach is immediately confused. For what, Zach? Michaela has every right to be at a 50% trust level with you. But whenever you see that she doesn't conform, it's an issue. It was weird to me. Why is Michaela not allowed to feel like trust is at 50%? So then on the other hand, they ask Zach, where's your level of trust? He says it depends on how you define trust. He says, like, if she says she's going, keep in mind of the example that he used. He says, if Michaela tells me that she's going somewhere, then I believe her. Okay. Like, we should believe you when you say you get too tired at the house. Sounds to me like you got some unfinished business and you were meeting somebody at your house and decided not to come back, or either you was out in the streets all night. But y'all pay attention to the example that he used. So he says, I believe her, like, if she says she's going to go somewhere, but as far as not blowing up, I don't trust her. I feel like her character traits are permanent. And anyone with comment, like, listen, I understand what he meant by saying that her character traits were permanent, but I don't think that this applies to this situation. I think it's much too early for you to say that these are permanent character traits. I think that if you want to continue to work at a relationship, then you should extend grace. But at this point in time, I think that Zach no longer wants to work on a relationship. This is Zach's way of calling it quits. And he so badly wanted Dr. Viviana to validate what he was saying. He so badly wanted Dr. Viviana to say that everything isn't working because Michaela got mad 2 times. No, I hate that he's using her actions against her. Everybody fucks up every now and then. I didn't have some crazy blow-ups, but that doesn't define who I am. Zach knows this. Anyone who has any sort of emotional intelligence knows this, but you are trying to use it against her. So he says it's a fundamental character trait. He doubles down on it. Dr. Viviana then has to speak up, and she says that you're wrong. So because things don't go his way, Dr. Viviana ends up leaving, and then he goes over to the dining room table. This is immediately after Dr. Viviana left. So now Michaela has been trained not to react negatively because she already knows that she's treading on thin ice. Michaela really wants this relationship to work. So instead of being like, why are you playing me? Why are you doing this? She comes over to console her husband. And he's sitting there crying. No, you don't understand how it feels. I don't understand how I'm the one doing anything wrong. Woo! Y'all. When he said that, I was triggered. It takes two, okay? Zach, just the fact that you were comfortable saying that Michaela was the reason, or you don't understand how you're doing anything wrong, essentially, you're saying everything's Michaela's fault, is just wild to me. I have to call out this comment right here from Mia. Mia says Zach is clearly a short fuse too. He showed it in this episode. He's not as calm and collected as he tries to appear. This the one right here. These two are both the same. They're both short fused, and it just is beyond me that you would think that you're any better than Michaela, because Michaela expresses her frustration in blowups. Meanwhile, you use her blowups as a way to punish her and train her to get with the program. So that way, when you're doing F shit, because I can say a lot, that way, when you're doing effed up stuff, she won't question you about it and she won't have the room to mess up. This is manipulative AF. I think both of these people have issues. I hope they both get a divorce. They are not going to work. And I hope that Michaela doesn't want this relationship so bad that she's unable to tell what's logical from what's not. And I think that he's trying to confuse her by making it seem like her feelings are invalid and her feelings don't make sense at all. Ugh, disgusted, okay? So anyway, he says that he can't comprehend what he's done. Fast forward, y'all. Reset. These two are at the pool. He wanted to take her somewhere. And this is where I kind of started to get sad for Michaela, because you could even hear like her tone of voice is different. She's trying to be very soft with him. She doesn't want to alarm him in any type of way. But the thing is, you can show your representative as much as you want to. But one thing, anything that's done in the dark will come to light. Any person who tries to hide who they are, your true self will come to light. So, Michaela, don't get along with the get along. If you have a bad anger problem, that's fine. You can work on that, but don't let him punish you for it. So at this pool scene, her tone of voice was very light. He says, yeah, I wanted to take you to the pool because I know you like water. Oh, so let me do something nice to you. And Michaela's like, thank you. I really appreciate it. Whatever. So anyway, they end up playing another prompted game where they blindfold each other. They're playing all this little cute music in the background, making it seem like they're finally coming to a place of peace. And ultimately, y'all, this is just another opportunity to reset for us to run into the same damn malfunction. So, Michaela, she apologizes for her knee-jerk reactions, and she feels like Zach holds on to grudges. I want y'all to notice how, when she apologized for her knee-jerk reactions, she got that verbatim from what he said to Dr. Viviana. He is intentionally planting things and she's receiving it. For example, 2 episodes ago, or maybe it was last week, Zach sat there and he listed everything off about what he required in a wife. Many things that Michaela does not attain and doesn't have at all. One thing that he said for sure was something about her blowing up. And then later on that episode, she ends up apologizing or saying that she would be the woman to work towards all the goals that he listed, or all the must-haves for a wife. So he tells you what he wants, and then you receive that information and conform. And it's going to be a cycle over and over again. So that happened last episode. This episode, he's complaining about your knee-jerk reactions. You receive that information and then you conform. I feel like he's trying to groom. Okay, so next, y'all, Zach. Zach ends up saying that what he needs from Michaela the most is understanding. Michaela is unsure about the way that he feels towards her now. And this is the thing. he was shocked that she was unsure about where his feelings laid. I think Michaela has every right to be unsure. And I think that, well, Nana, I don't think the list was, majority of the list from Zach was regular stuff. However, he specifically named the two things about Michaela that we find out this episode he feels is a fundamental character trait. So if your requirement for a future wife is for her not to have blowups, but then this week you tell us that it's fundamentally her, you're essentially telling her that she's not who you want as a wife. So what she's going to continue to do is try to conform and meet your requirements. So he knows what he's doing. It's a manipulation tactic. Anyway, Zach acts like he's surprised that Michaela is unsure about how he feels about her. Whatever, it's beyond me. And then after he tells her, well, I do like you. I told you I still like you. He then tells her that at this point, he can't see a future with her. So again, Michaela is making mistakes or showing her fundamental character, if you believe what Zach says, and then trying to fix those mistakes. And then next, you raise the bar a little bit higher, or you still leave her in confusion as to where she stands with you. So I like you, but I don't see a future with you. So what is Michaela supposed to do with that? I feel like it can create a lot of anxiety. And Zach doesn't realize how what he is doing is adding to confusion and adding to these blowups. So while you continue to play her, be an author of confusion, don't look at her crazy whenever she blows up, because you're creating a lot of that chaos. And I'm not going to say that he's been doing this from the beginning. But Michaela, it does have a short fuse. But one thing I'm not going to do is sit here on my TV and allow a man to manipulate a woman. Everybody F's up sometimes. I'm not going to make it seem like Michaela is a bad person. So, Zach, you are clown number 2 of the week, y'all. So this couple decides to reset like they always do. And any of those couples that reset like that as often as they do, they don't make it to 8 weeks. They're going to break up. Okay. So y'all, the last couple that we have to talk about, light the video up if you haven't. The last couple that we are here to talk about is Rachel and Josephine. Let's go ahead and talk about Rachel and Josephine, y'all. He was definitely on some petty female stuff. Wasn't cool at all. He seems to be this big, perfect guy, but I really hate to see a man get nasty in arguments like that. And that's what really made me feel like he was on some female-ish. No man should ever treat his wife like that. Rachel, I have to say, I'm extremely proud of Rachel this episode. From what we saw in the beginning, I definitely expected Rachel to just get along with the get along. I expected Rachel to conform. And I was actually really nervous that she would never end up standing up for herself. But that's what she did this episode. But the one thing is, y'all, at the end, I'll talk about the couples getting together at the end. Let me talk about the Rachel and Jose high level. So Dr. Viviana comes to the house. She visits a couple and she says, let's talk about sex, baby. Okay, they talked about sex. What was their favorite part? Rachel was a little bit timid about speaking on it, but Jose answered it like he was in a damn interview. I just feel like it's the cherry on top. Hold on. Got to get my charger. So hold on. I got to get my charger and then fix my camera. So y'all bear with me. We friends at this point. Y'all should be used to this. This is just a conversation. Okay, we're back in business. So Rachel is a little bit more timid to have a conversation about their sex life. Jose, like I said, answers it like he's in a damn job interview. It's just a cherry on top. What's your favorite part? Intercourse, blah, 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 blah. Didn't nobody want to hear all that. Y'all, I still do not believe that Jose is 110% into women. I do not care. Y'all light them comments up and tell me, like, the way he argued was just really bitch made, real female like. And I would never in a million years stand for a man, my man specifically, to treat me like that. So they both say that they trust each other 100%. Remember, y'all, a couple episodes ago, they told each other that they loved each other, which I thought was way too early for them to be saying. I feel like he cussed her out like she was somebody on the damn street. He used way too many cuss words for my liking, and I would have lost my shit. Okay. So now, y'all, we get to the main event. I have to pull up this damn clown face. We get to the main event, y'all. And what we find out is that Rachel calls Jose by another man's name. Y'all, we don't find out what man that is until the end of the episode. I don't know if Ryan was joking or not, but I'm going to reveal that last for those of you who haven't watched the episode. So anyway, we find out that Rachel called Jose another man's name, or Josephine, because that's what I'm going to stick with. Rachel called Josephine another man's name. And they're in the kitchen, and she already apologized for it. And she basically is saying to him, I'm sorry, I don't know why you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. He's cussing her out, saying, get the fuck out of here, leave, bounce, all this stuff. And this is why, Rachel, pay attention to who people are when they get upset. Everything is all good if things are good. He's so in love with you. He's going to get you financially correct. He has 2 houses. He has no debt. Everything's good when it's all good, but pay attention to how it is when it's all bad, because he talked to you like an MFing dog. He talked to her like a dog. So this is why I'm saying, if you were to go put your money in a joint account with Jose and you had called him another man's name, and let's say you just needed to get a couple of dollars out to go to the nail shop, you walk up to the nail shop, he didn't put your allowance in your account. This is why Jose is on some bitch shit, to be completely honest. Excuse my language. It is what it is. Do not get yourself entangled with a man that is that emotional to where he can't even think logically, more importantly, respectfully. He would cut off her allowance. I agree. He's a control freak. So if he felt like he was disrespected, keep in mind, y'all, this little man also has Napoleon syndrome. So if he doesn't feel like a man, can you imagine what he would do to try to assert himself in a household? He would have you on a strict budget, okay? And like I said a couple of videos ago, you would be down to Walmart calling Jose on the phone, asking if you could get an extra $2 to buy 3-ply toilet tissue instead of 1-ply. Definitely. Do not put yourself in that situation. So he ends up locking her out. We find out that not only is he tripping because of that, she feels disrespected because he locked her out. He put the deadbolt on the lock, knowing that his wife was not home. She ends up telling us that he was walking out one of the producers, and he claims that he did it by accident. And this is what makes it even worse. You're playing games. You're trying to make it seem like she's crazy. No, what are you talking about? I locked the door accidentally. It was the audacity for me. You went down to the other husbands and told them that lie. You're literally sticking by your lie that you know is not true because you're so worried about how you're perceived with your little ass, okay? Your little Santa's helper looking ass, okay? This type of man needs to be watched, okay? This is what women mean when they say, well, I went and dated a guy that really wasn't in my league because I thought he would treat me better. Where? Not always. If they have little man syndrome and they're always trying to assert themselves, he will disrespect you if that means making himself feel more like a man. So this whole situation needs to be resolved somehow. I don't think Rachel's going to leave, but Jose is going to have to do something to show that he can be respected, okay? So now, y'all, Rachel says she wants to give up. She says she's done. She wants a divorce. And Jose is sitting there with his little cute self, lobster, eating his steak, hashtag unbothered, very much giving, the emoji with the nail polish. He was very much giving, okay, you want a divorce? Okay. Bet. This is what Jose was doing. Bet. Leave. So she ends up walking away. She goes to the room. Producer ends up asking her to come back out. And that's whenever she says that she only came back out to express herself. She feels like so many times she gets the short end of the stick and she doesn't really get to explain how she truly feels about a situation. So she reads a letter to him, y'all. I'm thinking that this is something that she had wrote out recently, y'all. This is a letter that she wrote on 2 weeks ago. Y'all, keep in mind, they're only at like halfway through the process. They're coming up on 4 weeks at this point. So this means 2 weeks into the marriage, you already had concerns that you were not voicing. This is the conforming thing that they say you like to do. So this is why I feel like you need to go ahead and continue to speak out, Rachel, or else you're just going to end up being a character in Jose's world. And I do not want that for you. So anyway, she writes a letter. She basically explains that she's in a relationship with somebody who already has their entire life planned out and they just want her to be a part of the life. And that's not what she wants. She wants a partner. She also talked about the fact that he was hell-bent on having one account and that was it. I think that that's something that you should have discussed earlier. I think that's something that you definitely should have considered before y'all start throwing out the L word. I think that's another reason. I think another reason why Jose didn't say I love you in his last relationship of 4+ years, I think he ain't really into women like that. I'm sorry. I truly think that's just how I feel. I truly feel like he is not into women like that. I don't understand how you can be with somebody for 4 years. You knew she had kids the 4 years that you were with her, and you never said, I love you. I don't understand that. That's weird to me. But you're with Rachel for all of 2 weeks and you end up saying, I love you, but only because she says, I love you first. I don't think that he would have said it ever, really, if it were up to him. But y'all, their love is shallow because at the end of the episode, all the couples meet up. And when all the couples meet up, we find out good news from Mirla and Gil. Gil ends up telling the guys that Mirla finally kissed him. And then Jose's little elf looking ass ends up telling us that he accidentally locked the deadbolts on the house. Y'all, thank God that the men called him out on his BS, okay? Nobody really believed him. That's your wife. And Gil said that early on. If your wife is not home, you would have reached out to her to find out when she was coming home. You put the deadbolt. Listen, nobody's mad at you for securing your home, but if you know that your partner is gone and they're supposed to come back home for the night, then you leave that deadbolt unlocked and you only lock the main lock. You intentionally tried to upset her. She had to go around to all the couple's apartments to seek refuge. Basically, you left your wife out on the street. Boy, thank you guys for calling him out on his bullshit. Now, if only y'all would keep that same energy and call Zach out on his bull. These guys, they really put up a facade. Jose puts up a facade that he's just this happy-go-lucky guy, but you have little man syndrome. You have major insecurities and you were triggered by her calling you another man's name and you end up explaining that to the men. You were triggered because you already thought that she was a cheater. You went back to explain the time that y'all were on the boat and she told you about stepping out of her previous relationship. So I don't think that that's enough to trigger you and to get an upset with her. I think the deeper issue is that you feel like you aren't the best man for her or the best option. And you also feel like she could have somebody taller than you, more masculine than you, et cetera, which is why the only horn that you toot is the fact that you have an 815 credit score and no debt. So that's something that you have over a lot of men. So while you can't float your, while you can't toot your horn about looking like the ideal masculine guy, you have to talk to us about your credit score all the time. So that's the Napoleon shit. So anyway, Rachel is talking to the women and she ends up saying, I do not love him anymore. Your love never existed. Love is not that shallow. Okay. Love is not that shallow. I was watching like a Red Table Talk video, and it was this counselor on there talking to Jada, and she said that love is not red. It's not passionate. Love is blue. It should be neutral. Love should be an action. Y'all are saying I love you just because y'all are having a good time and having sex. So now that he's pissed you off, you no longer love him? Y'all some clowns. Now, Rachel, while you did stand up for yourself and I'm proud of you, y'all are some clowns for being on this love type stuff because it's just so unnecessary. So, y'all, at the very end of the episode, Ryan ends up telling us that she accidentally called him Johnny. She accidentally called him Johnny, and he got upset. He kept saying another man. Now, for a second, I was like, is this a joke? But I didn't think it was a joke because Zach and Gil said it was an honest mistake. We talk about each other all the time. That is even more alarming. You didn't call him the name of an ex. You called him the name of someone who y'all talk about daily and all of y'all are on the same TV show. Or you're even more triggered because maybe you think that she wants Johnny, but you feeling away because maybe you want Johnny. I don't know, y'all. This episode was definitely giving, okay? We definitely had some clowns this episode. I knew that eventually these people would end up showing their ass. It just took halfway through the season instead of on the honeymoon like we got with Chris and Paige last episode, y'all. So I'm really not thinking it was a joke. I really think he felt some type of way about her calling him Johnny. And I think he's afraid that they both might want Johnny. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see what y'all think in these comments. Be sure to like the video up. But let me see what y'all are talking about before I get on out of here. Another thing, y'all, it is 6:07 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see y'all in 2 hours on Bonnie Blue's channel if y'all want to have some more conversation. But let's see. Nana says that ain't even his home. It's Lifetime house. Say it again. Jose locking deadbolts. This ain't even your house. This is Lifetime's house. Okay. Josephine, Lil Demon. And yes, she could find somebody taller. And I think that he's triggered by that. You're worried that she's going to find somebody taller. Scrum says she ain't going to have to look far to find nobody taller. I cannot. Julia, yes, Rachel loved the thought of love. Y'all definitely thought that this was fairy tale. The couples that go to hardest so early, they always end up hitting a big old roadblock. It's hilarious how the tables are turning. Mirla and Gil started out really, really slow. And they got all the good edits this episode. So we got to have some balance somewhere. T said it's not a joke. He really was talking about Johnny. Johnny. Yes, Johnny. So, y'all. No, Trini, this the comment right here. She's bigger than him. She could have fought him, to be honest. I was trying not to say that, y'all. If he would have, like, Jose is so little that if he would have cussed me out in that kitchen like that, it would not have connected that this is my husband. This is a man. I cannot fight him. Because if he was anybody off the street and he talked to me like that, I probably would have put them paws on him, to be honest. We probably would have been scrapping in the kitchen with his little ass. I am not condoning violence, y'all. But I'm just saying it definitely would not have clicked to me that this was somebody's husband the way that he cussed her out. It was ridiculous. Push his ass down. Well, y'all, that's all I got for this episode. This was a fun one. I will see y'all this weekend so we can talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tonight, I'll see y'all so we can talk about some other stuff. But until then, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see